Hi all, let's look at another fascinating game from Gibraltar. Valentina Gunina was playing against Nigel short, so she was up against a higher rated opponent by more than 100 points. Nigel short is approaching still 2700. Let's have a look at this game. So e4, Nigel short plays the provocative Alekhine's defense. We have e5, knight d5, d4, d6, knight f3, g6. Pretty standard so far. Bishop e2, bishop g7, c4, the knight goes back. Now e takes d, c takes, white castles. Pretty standard stuff up till here. Now here, Valentina Gunina plays quite a rare move. According to Chess-Based Live Book, knight c3 is being played quite a lot, more than 80 games. But this, by comparison, what was played is like one in Chess-Based Live Book. It's very, very rare at a high level, it seems, to play bishop g5. But it has quite a profound point of provoking weaknesses, I believe. We have knight c6, h3. So, because sometimes black wants to play bishop g4 here to put more pressure on d4. Bishop goes to f5, knight c3. And now h6. So, it's kind of worked, it's done its job to provoke a weakness. It does seem as though there might be a loss of time though in doing this, but think about this h6 weakness now and how that affects the game. Bishop e3, d5. So it looks pretty standard stuff, except for this pawn on h6. This looks like a standard sort of position that players with the Alekhine defense would play. So c5, knight c4. The bishop drops back here, b6, and now b3. And at this point, Nigel short plays quite an imaginative move. If the knight goes back, then here c takes. This position is quite comfortable for white. And look at that b5 square. It's quite a comfortable position for white, and controlling e5 as well. So at this juncture, we have this very imaginative move. B takes c5, so a piece sacrifice. B takes c4, c takes d4. And now knight takes d5, taking out an important centre pawn. But doesn't it fail tactically, this? Isn't black able to win material here? Well, actually, Nigel short avoided the winner material with d3. He actually played e6. And now white gives back material with bishop a3. But before we go into that, let's take some time here to have a quick look at d3. Bishop takes d3, and this is actually, believe it or not, this position, although white's going to be the exchange down, look, we're taking that h6 pawn, which was the whole idea of being provoking weaknesses earlier. So the exchange down here, technically, is actually very, very good for white, because black has a weakened king position. This position here, if you run it for our engine friends, is actually much better for white, because actually white is also free to use the dreaded h-pawn and further weaken the black king. I'll give you this example scenario where, you know, black's giving back the exchange and just worse after. It just gets extremely dangerous, this position around here. And also there's rook lifts potentially as well. But yeah, weakening the king, it's pretty scary how the king can be dismantled, even though black is the exchange up. So it's interesting that Nigel short avoided this kind of scenario. So this one maybe wasn't totally the intention earlier. So he's losing the exchange now. And you might think it's okay here for black. Okay, because, okay, it's a pawn for the exchange. We have bishop d3, knight b4, but now taking on f5, and rook b1. And actually, this is very precarious position now for black after rook b7. There's moves like queen b3 hitting f7. So the king runs back to safety here. But this knight is also now a tactical liability. And it's kind of pinned here against the queen. We have queen d5, and now a very, very strong move, because this is relying on queen takes rook. So simply, white play. What does white play here? Okay, rook b5. Yeah, this is very precarious for black now. So queen c4, trying to hold on to the knight. Rook d1. Now here, if knight c5, there's rook c1 just winning that knight. So Nigel Short plays knight f4, and guess what? What does white play here if I give you 5 seconds? Which is simple and strong. Okay, rook b8 check, and black has to resign because after takes, the knight's dropping. So I thought that was fascinating because that early move is a bit of a novelty actually, and it had a profound impact on the tactics later with b3, how this sacrifice to open up this diagonal to win this rook on a1 could backfire because of the h6 pawn, which was provoked as a weakness. So I thought it's kind of fascinating, and congratulations to Valentina Gunina for defeating a much higher rated opponent as well. Okay, comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.